in California, is it tropical climate or is it
Well, I
is it
live in a
hot?
desert. Yeah. Well, I mean, LA's technically by the beach, but yeah, it's basically a desert. It's not tropical. No.
Do you have camels there?
I've never seen one except at the
Okay.
zoo.
If you see one, spit on its face for me.
Why would I spit on a camel's face for you? Do you have some sort of
Because you
traumatic
respect.
experience from your childhood?
Wow, you you took the words right out of my mouth. Well, funny you said that, Mr. Romero. I do actually have such an occurrence in my life. Why, back in the day when I was a young lad of about 6 years, I think, my father, being the animal lover he is and a civil engineer, was going to inspect a site somewhere in no man's land.
Is that a real
And
place, or is that just some sort of...
no man's land in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. I just call it no man's land because I didn't see any man there, except for my
Got it.
father, of course. He was just going to see a building site, and on the way back, he saw a bunch of nomads. Do you know what nomads are?
people that move around aimlessly?
Yeah, pretty much. Nomads. Bedouin tribe. Although it wasn't a tribe, it was just, I think, a family. Just pitched a tent over there and had their camels kind of grazing on sand, I guess. I don't know what they were grazing on. Because from what I can remember, I didn't see grass or an oasis anywhere. It was just sand everywhere. But so they were just settling down there, and the camels. My father saw these camels, and he said, he just stopped the car and say, "Children, look at those! They're camels." And we're children, and say, "Yeah, they're camels. Hey, you want to go feed them?" Said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." And we just went, and we were. My father was petting some of the camels, and I was petting a camel. My brother was petting a camel. We were all happy. And in the distance, I saw one particular camel look at me funny. And funny as in he was just looking at me at first. All right, I thought, yeah, nice, yeah, camel. They look at children, I guess. And I continued petting the camel with me, right? And I looked back at that camel, and I noticed that camel got a little bit closer. He stopped, and he was looking at me. I said, "Huh, weird." Okay, continue petting my camel. And the camel, I turned back again to the other camel, and it's getting more closer. And this time it didn't stop. It was continuing to come closer. I thought, oh, okay, he just wants to be pet too. Me being an innocent 6-year-old. I thought, okay, I'll pet him. I just extended my hand, and the camel was opening his mouth wide. And I said, "Oh, he wants to speak." Nice, camel. And I felt this tug from my collar behind me. And I was just yanked backwards, and I just heard, "Run!" from my father. And I was pushed, my brother too, and we were just both running at full speed. I didn't exactly understand what was wrong. All I knew is that, my father said run, so I probably should run. So I was running, and I said, why is everybody running? And my speed was kind of reducing for a bit. And then I looked back, and the camel's mouth was almost right behind me. And my father once again pushed me forward. And we just ran and ran and ran, and just went outside the gate. And that's how we escaped, or that's how I was almost eaten by a camel. And
So now he dons the guise of Camel Man to strike fear in the hearts of his enemies.
Nice.